Okay, so we're going to talk today about plugins for WordPress. One thing you must know, and I don't know how many sites that I get I get asked to look at for new customers where they've got 10, 15, 20, 25 plugins, and it just creates an absolute mess on your website. Now, there's certain plugins I think that everybody must have as a starter. I mean, when you install WordPress, you get a Kismet and you get this little Hello Dolly silly thing that doesn't really do anything. A Kismet protects your spam, so you have to have that enabled, or you're going to get spam left, right, and center on your comments, especially. So, what to do about plugins? Well, there's 4 or 5. The first thing you'll always be told, and a lot of web developers love to tell you about SEO. But really, WordPress, even Matt Cutts, who's the search expert at Google, said that WordPress, out of the box, without you doing anything, handles 90 to 95% of everything you need to do with SEO. It's up to you to create local, unique content for your website and for your target audience on a regular basis. That's where you'll get the biggest benefit out of SEO you can possibly get. All the rest, the other 5% really doesn't matter unless you're creating content. Okay, the plugins. So you can add a plugin if you like. It'll give you a little bit extra, but not as much extra as what actually writing unique, localized, targeted content will do for you. So let's go through some of the plugins you must have. Okay. If you must have an SEO plugin, probably All-in-One SEO Pack is the one for you. It's very popular, and the reason why I say it's important to install popular plugins, and I should have mentioned this before, popularity usually means updated regularly. So have a look at that. 28th of the 9th was the last update. This probably gets updated 4 or 5 times a year. Okay, it's got a good rating. Okay, there's always going to be negatives, but these are probably people that didn't see any increase in their search engine ranking. Basically, because if you're not writing regular content targeted to a unique audience, then you're not getting any SEO benefits out of these. But if you must install a plugin, SEO All-in-One SEO Pack is probably the one. There are some other good ones out there, and you can also get a pro version and pay for it. Again, the benefit would be another less than 1% benefit from going to pro. Okay, so All-in-One SEO Pack if you must have an SEO plugin. Google XML Sitemaps. So probably since around about 2004, 2005, XML Sitemaps, basically Google created a standard way of handling submissions to search engines. The old way was basically you created things you got your developers to create things like titles, keywords for every single page you had on your website. The new way is that it happens automatically. And Google XML Sitemaps, once you install it, you basically then register that sitemap with Google Webmaster Tools, which is google.com/webmaster. Okay, and you make sure you've got a Google account and you register with that, and then you can add your XML sitemaps to that and you can see how they're performing. So what it basically does is it actually, once you install it, there's a couple of settings, but the default setting's pretty good. But if you've got unique custom post types on your website, you want to make sure that you add those tick boxes to say you want to run that content as well. However, install XML Sitemaps, then go into the configuration and run it for the first time, and it'll automatically create sitemaps. Now, this doesn't mean it just goes to Google. It goes to all the major search engines, Bing and Yahoo. Okay, and what it does is it basically tells them, instead of looking at your website for new content and titles, description, keywords, it actually says go to this sitemap, and the bots go directly to the sitemap. So any change you make on your website, whether it's one letter, whether it's a comment, whether it's a new post, it automatically notifies the search engine to come back. Hey, come back, we've got something new for you. Okay, and what happens is these bots come back. Now, if you regularly update your website, the bots come back just about every day, because they know every time they go there, hey, there's something new, let's go and do it again. Okay, so you'll find that with popular sites, like a site like I've got, like Business 2, the bots come back 5-10 times a day. Okay, now, So let's get back to the plugin again. So make sure you have this installed. There's pretty much no reason you shouldn't have it. Okay. The next one is Super Cache. Now, this basically what it does is it creates cached versions of your website ready to load. Makes things load quite a bit quicker too, I might add. But you must make sure that your server and the setup of your environment for where your website's hosted, it can actually handle this, because otherwise it'll break your website. So this is one plugin you've got to get your developer to make sure that they install for you. For some sites it's not going to be compatible, okay? But for most sites this should work just fine, okay? But make sure you check with your developer before installing this plugin. Okay, so for security, I always think that everyone should have a security plugin, and this is probably one of the better ones. Basically, with WordPress and any popular web-based software out there, there's hackers that write scripts that go out there to search for all these websites, okay? And for any security vulnerabilities, you'll find that your website will get hacked and it'll go down. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. If you're not using a security plugin, make sure your password is not something ridiculous like password 123 or your name 123, or something so simple that a hacker can write some code to actually work it out just by your domain name or just by any of your users or authors on your website. These hackers, they're not human beings that go to your website and do this. It's just these scripts that go out there that go into security vulnerabilities, okay? And it happens every single day. Someone's site gets hacked. Probably tens of thousands of sites get hacked a day, okay? But this plugin takes it a step further, and it helps you understand what else you need to do to secure your website. So I would suggest that you install this. There's probably about 3 or 4 security plugins out there that are very good. WP Security is very good as well. But just pick one and have a look at it. You usually can't cover all of the bases it asks to do because it takes too much work. However, you should be able to do most. Okay, so the final plugin, which is a premium plugin, which means you have to pay for it. And that's Gravity Forms, okay? Now, for one site, this is all you need is to pay the $39. But basically, what it allows you to do, it allows you to create any type of form through a drag and drop system, where you can have forms like contact forms, purchasing order forms, internal staff forms. All of that you can do, and it's very simple to use, and it's a fantastic plugin. It can do a hell of a lot more than that as well. You can even have multi-page forms and things like that. You can even have them tied to members as well. And there's a bunch of add-ons as well, where you can add on to your, you can take payments from a form through PayPal, and you can have your campaign monitor or MailChimp newsletter integrated as well. So it's a great plugin, and I suggest that all of my clients, I purchase this and install it for every one of my clients. Okay, so that's basically the bunch of plugins that I suggest. All-in-one SEO Pack, Google XML Sitemaps, Super Cache, and a security plugin with Gravity Forms. Okay, so there you go. That's a great. Anything more than that, unless you've got something you truly need, you shouldn't have. Okay, if your developer can't build it for you, then you shouldn't build it, okay? If you can't afford to pay for it, then you shouldn't build it, okay? Because really the rest of them, there's a lot of things you can add, but really, unless you're doing an e-commerce site where you need a commerce plugin, WooCommerce is probably easily the best plugin out there for commerce. But basically, these are all the plugins you need, okay? Anything more than this, and you're getting into overkill territory. All right? Thank you.